Make sure you subscribe. Hold on. You see that? Make sure you go down, you hit subscribe when you look on the channel, like and comment. Guys, welcome to I'm Jerry B Podcast. You're now tuning into the 4th episode. I do have a special guest with me here today. Her name is Jazzmine Maria. She is a social influencer and she has been putting a stepping stone into the game. And guess what? She's from the United Kingdom. I ain't never been there, but she's here in the United States today, and I'm gonna pass it over to her.
Hi guys, I'm Jazzmine Maria. I'm a fashion, beauty, and wellness influencer. And yeah, prior to that, I was a publicist, but now I'm a full-time content creator.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it in brief.
So Jazzmine, welcome to the United States. How you feeling?
I feel good. I feel good. I'm here quite a bit, so it's not new to me. But yeah, it's always a good time when we're here.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So yeah, no complaints.
So we met yesterday, and
Mm-hmm.
the event that you had, I really enjoyed, like, just the whole togetherness so far as the women community and everything. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really, really good what you're doing, even bringing different brands together.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. How did you really get started with what you're doing? Because I know when we were talking yesterday, you're saying you did some publicist work,
Mm-hmm.
then you got into doing influence work and actually being a model also. So what got you started?
Okay, so I was a publicist. I've been in that space, influencer marketing, managing talent, brand from I've been on the brand side and I've been on the talent side. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
say that that was just my career. That was my bread and butter. I've always had a passion for like people and, being able to network, being able to just connect with people and create like brand perception. That was always something that motivated me. That's why I got into that. But I would say for me, I was growing so many client accounts. I was doing stuff with a lot of talent, with a lot of brands. And I was like, I'm doing this for these clients. Why don't I do it for myself? Why don't I actually do everything that I do and see myself reap those benefits?
Exactly.
And that's really what made me get into becoming a content creator because I said to myself, I don't want to keep just doing it for everyone else and not, focusing on myself. And I could feel that I wanted more for myself. And that's
Definitely.
pretty much why I done that.
Okay, so far from the moment, what was something that in the moment that like pushed you, where you was like, you know what, no matter what, this is what I'm doing, where you just put your all energy?
Mm.
What was that moment? Everybody got their moment, What was that moment in your life where you just decided?
The moment that pushed me into making a step to just vouch on myself, I think it was realizing that I have to start keeping some promises to myself. I think that was the moment for me. It was like, Jazzmine, you constantly deliver for so many other people. For me, one thing I don't play about is my reputation and me delivering.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always showing up for other people. But I said to myself, Jazzmine, for yourself, you will always, you know, put yourself on the back burner at times. Stop doing that. And that was the turning point for me, realizing I'm not doing that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, yeah, made me kick into gear.
Definitely. So I'll say, just like relating like to myself, like, there's a lot of people like they try to get started with things and they don't pursue. And and I could just tell even from yesterday when we were talking, you have a lot of willpower in you. Straight up,
Yes.
you do. And I always like helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that in you too. We have conversations about it. We're gonna have some viewers that's looking at this. And a lot of people are trying to get involved in content
Mm-hmm.
creation, being an influencer, and they're right at the beginning stage. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know what to do. They don't know how to get started. What is your advice talking to them of like what's some ways to get started if they're like trying to figure it out?
I would say, first and foremost, figure out your niche. So it doesn't always have to be one. I know that might be a bit controversial for some people because everybody says niche down,
Mm-hmm.
but you might have three pillars that epitomize yourself. So beauty, fashion, and lifestyle. Figure that out. Once you figure out that, start looking into your comments. See what people are asking of you. When you can ascertain that, you will know exactly where to start. And I think with content creation, people overthink it when really you need to do it. And the proof is in the pudding once you're doing it. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I would say.
Definitely. So one thing I want to mention, right? So far with what you got going on with the modeling. I know we talked about influencing, we talked about content creation. What is so far specific with the modeling? Are you doing runways or are you?
No, so with regards to modeling,
Mhm.
I actually done that more so when I was younger. It was modeling and acting. I done that. That was something that when I was dabbling in the idea of getting into the creative industry, I was doing as part of a theatre company. So I was performing and I was modeling. Now I'm just a full-time influencer, content creator. That is what I do
Mm.
currently.
Okay. If you're supposed to look back now, right? If you take a moment to think
Mm-hmm.
from everything you went from the start of this whole journey and where you're at now, what is something that you would tell your younger self, and be like, if you were right in front of them 10 years, however you old now, 10 years ago, what would you tell that Jasmine?
Vouch on yourself. Really believe in yourself. Like, don't allow imposter syndrome to keep you from rooms, keep you from stepping into places that are, might seem daunting. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Those are the things. Sometimes you can, talk yourself out of things. Your internal conversations can have you doing things that or not doing things that you're capable of because you're constantly, overthinking things, you're suffering from imposter syndrome, and you just don't believe that you can do it. So I would say do it and see the results and then let that be your driving force.
Hmm.
That's what I would have told my younger self because sometimes you just have to see yourself actually actioning something to start believing that it can be a reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Belief is a big thing, definitely. Do you have, who's your higher power?
I'm a Christian.
Okay, okay. I say higher
Yes.
power because everybody
Yeah.
has their.
Yeah.
So definitely belief it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I usually tell people, once you really find that, that's like really the key.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing with me, I used to believe in people a lot,
Right.
and people are always going to let you down.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the higher power within yourself, it pushes you forward. So when it comes to selling yourself, you're right on the money. You
Mm-hmm.
have to believe in yourself. You don't believe in yourself, nobody's gonna believe in you for you.
People by people. That
Exactly.
is it. Yeah.
That willpower is everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So London is definitely a big difference from United States. I
Mm-hmm.
know we talked a little bit about it. Do you feel like from all the work that you put in from the UK and
Yeah.
now being in the US now, do you feel like the US is the move for you, or you feel like you still are more lucrative so far in London?
No, I would say my two biggest audiences with my social media is the US and the UK. But there are several things that I love about being in the States. That is one thing that I will say. I love the connections I make here. I love that, people are very proactive. They have this hustler mentality. And it's like, how can we collaborate? How can we find the synergy? What can we do to make money? That is a very important thing. Sometimes I feel like in the UK, we can be very reserved, very conservative. It's like, stay over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that difference is what makes me want to be over
Yeah, yeah.
here, if
I
that
get
makes
you.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, because once you're used to being somewhere, you want to go somewhere else.
Yeah, but I think it's also when you think of it from a business perspective. When I was saying this, I think I was saying this the other day, I was saying that I love when people have the mentality on, let's collaborate, let's do something to, better ourselves. When you're in a space with people like that, like minded people, greatness always comes from that. And that is what, yeah. So,
Exactly. Definitely. So as a woman and as an influencer, and I have two daughters myself.
love that.
And it comes to a point even with myself, what I'm doing, I'm around the camera. So and I already know my daughters, like I already know they're like destined for so much more, right? So for the younger women generation, what is some advice that you have for them of them getting into, modeling, influencing, and basically being able to protect themselves and make sure they're not dealing with the wrong people, or I'm bringing up certain questions that these things actually, are in
Hmm.
the process of. So what advice do you have like for them, and like what should they look out for and their standpoint and everything?
That's a good question. It's a good question. I think when you're navigating anything like this, and I was speaking about this, I was saying that in these sorts of industries where it's a very informal industry, you have to keep your wits about you. You have to set a standard. You
Mm-hmm.
have to know this is my standard. This is what I stand for, and I'm not just going to fall for anything, because there are going to be loads of situations where you're tempted with various opportunities. You need to make sure it aligns.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make sure that you are, you know, navigating it with always safety first. And as a woman, safety is a very important thing in this space. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Definitely. So, I'll tell you one thing, just from a take, you carry yourself very well.
Thank
Okay. I always pay attention to everything in the room. I look at
you.
everybody. So you do have the confidence. I can tell that you went through your path until like where you're at now, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring something up
Yeah.
that everybody
Mm-hmm.
goes through and everybody's dealing with so far, relationships. And
Okay.
it's perfect because I remember I told you about,
Yeah,
I
you
wanted a
did.
woman speaker to come down. We could talk about these things and,
Mm-hmm.
get related on, but so
Mm-hmm.
far, what's your take on relationships?
Oh, that's a broad question. um, Relationships. What's my take? So I would say when it comes to relationships, always assess whether it's healthy, whether it's conducive for your growth. What is this relationship reaping? Are you becoming a better person because of it? Or is it, being of detriment?
Mm-hmm.
Do you find yourself suppressing yourself with this person? Does this person make you feel open? I think you've really got to analyze the effect and the impact another person is having on you, because if you're not careful, you will become a shell of yourself. And yeah, that is, yeah, important.
I think one of the biggest things is people knowing who they are.
Mm.
I feel like definitely like, especially in this day and age where we're at now, people are trying to, they're finding themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely believe like the whole, what's the word for it? The new era of thinking is literally basically working on yourself and before you get into a relationship with somebody. Sometimes people have past trauma, whatever the case is, and they lead into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on a different kind of approach. As I'm getting older and I got like 2 daughters now and everything,
Yeah.
it's my mind just goes to different places of just seeing what's out there in the world and what's going on now.
Yeah.
So, so what is the ideal man? What do you feel like the ideal man is?
I don't think that's even. See, I'm quite biased when it comes to these things. I hate generalized statements.
Yeah.
And I say that because it's subjective.
Mm.
What I need is not what Billy may need.
Of course, of course, of course.
So it's not about ideal man. It's about what is this person? Who is
Mhm.
this person? Who is their core? How do they treat people? What do they think? How do they make you feel? But also, what are their principles? Does their path align with where you're going? I'm very big on like reciprocity. Can you reciprocate what I'm giving you? Yeah, that in itself is a big part.
I feel like that's a beautiful statement. And
Mm-hmm.
and I say it out there, not to try to put you on blast or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but I say it out there because people watch, people view, and these are things we got to know about ourselves.
Yeah.
It comes a part of who we become as ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and to actually lead the way,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So I know from what we were saying, you're saying that so far as the generalizations on like being biased on like
Mm-hmm.
the relationships and everything, where does that come from? Like
Okay, so when it comes to generalizations, I would say not being biased on that is because I just believe that people are there. Everyone brings something to the table, like their own thing. And you have to be able to assess for yourself what is the thing that you need in your life. A lot of people are constantly looking outside and saying, I want this, I want that, I want this. But who are you? That's my question. Let's assess who we are before we're looking at what we're trying to attract from other people.
Mhm.
Can you be the thing that you're looking for in other people? And so when it comes to like, generalizations, I don't make them because I know what's suitable for me because I've done the work. I think people have to do the work to then analyze that.
And so far, what do you have so far with the people who are? I had a conversation, right? I had a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with a woman. We were talking about a lot of different. We were talking about a lot of different things, and she mentioned
Mm-hmm.
um that she was tired of basically being the therapist in situations with, in relationships. Have you ever been in a situation like that where you was, putting a little bit too much on yourself and certain thing your partner had to work on for themselves? You were just doing a little bit too extra.
You see, I think when you're deciding to do life with someone, there has to be an understanding and a basis on, I know you're coming with baggage, but we're going to work through it. There has to be a foundation of that. I'm not saying accept anything that is abusive. No. But I'm saying people come with their nuances, but how are you going to just walk away
Mm-hmm.
because they're going through a hard season? You shouldn't be in a relationship if that's your approach. And I think that's the thing in society today. A lot of people are fearful of being vulnerable with people because a lot of people are very cutthroat. It's like, if you're not serving me,
Mm-hmm.
to hell with you.
Basically.
What can you sustain with that?
Mm-hmm.
That's my perspective there.
So do you feel like so far what is basic do you feel like marriage
Mm-hmm.
is ideal on where we're at now?
Yeah, I, I, I would say, as I said, I don't make generalized statements. You need to be able to assess whether marriage is something you aspire to. That's what I always say to people. Some people get married for religious reasons. Some people get married because it's something they've always dreamt of. But do you understand that it's not the pretty pictures and it's not the wedding day?
Mm-hmm.
It's really not that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so much more that goes into it. And a lot of the times when you get married or when you get into a long term relationship, you're basically asking for
Yeah.
a mirror, someone to show you everything about yourself, good, the bad, the ugly. Are you ready to face that? So, marriage for me, in my opinion, it's amazing to do life with someone. Why? Why wouldn't you want that? But it's got to be a person that's healthy for you. It's got to be a person that brings out the best in you. I don't believe in relationship management courses, but I
Like therapy and stuff like that.
no,
No?
like you're with someone and it's constantly like you're trying to manage them,
Yeah.
tolerate them. That is not fun. And I'm not saying that relationships are supposed to be fun all the time, but you've got to understand what, like, who are you becoming? Everything is this thing making you a better person? Is this person going to make you grow? Are you going to look back 10 years from now and be like, I am a better person because you helped contribute? Or are you going to say, I'm broken now
Mm.
because you was in my life? Where are you going to be left?
You know how I feel a little bit with marriage? So far in marriage, I do feel like it's a beautiful thing,
Mm-hmm.
especially nowadays. I feel like the substance out of it has been taken out extremely a lot so
Okay.
far as the substance, because I've always wanted to get married and do all that stuff. But until like the new age of like today.
Mm-hmm.
So like a little bit of my mindset, not saying I don't like it, because listen, if God has somebody for me right now and I know it's aligned, then listen, there's nothing I have to question. I never
Mm-hmm.
question them, right? It's like it's just the way how like they put it together. I feel like sometimes it's like a contract. It is an actual contract, and
It is.
you know what? This is a question I have, right? From where I'm at, right? Would you have the same, I'm gonna word this. Would you date somebody that you made more money than? extremely more money than? Would you
So,
date somebody under your level?
see, this question.
Mm-hmm.
I have a.
Because I tell you personally myself,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell
Okay.
I'm gonna
Go
tell you
for it.
myself.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. In the past, I've been the helper.
Mm-hmm.
I've been that person of trying to change somebody,
Mm-hmm.
trying to do this, do that when
Mm-hmm.
they should do the work themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I was that person. And where I'm at now with myself, it's like it has to make sense. Whether I have 2 kids, I have I come with a package,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't I can't date a woman that, example, has no car, makes minimal income than me, and it doesn't have to be by a lot, but it's just sustaining. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because all those years I've been that, trying to do that, you
But
know.
see, for me, when I hear that, all that comes to my mind is I always say this: if somebody has to bear the brunt of your previous experiences, I don't think that that person's ready to get into a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because it's unfair to get into a relationship with someone and then just by default they're bearing the brunt. I feel like you've got to approach people as individuals and like as the person that they are. You don't know what light they could bring into your life.
Mm-hmm.
But already, if you approach it from, I've gone through this in the past and I'm not going through it again, you're stepping out on a really negative hand.
Exactly. I get it.
And so I would say with regards to your question,
Mm-hmm.
I have this question, it irks me sometimes because I'm like, is
I get it. I get
money is such a
it.
redundant
I know. I know.
conversation in
But it's
relationships. I
real.
believe that people should do what works for them. If you want to be with a man that doesn't earn as much as you, but he is your number one cheerleader, and guess what? He will drop everything to make sure that your business is running. He will give his time, effort, and everything else. And that's what you want for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're still winning, because there are men with money but have no time.
Exactly.
They will never invest time in anything that you're doing. They'll be able to give you the money, but can you say that they've been at anything that you're doing? So you really have to analyze what it is you need for yourself. So that's why sometimes I'm like, when people say the money
Mm-hmm.
situation and then people, I'm like, what if that's not important to you? If you've sustained yourself for so long with your own money, yes, you might want to, you don't want someone to come into your life and make your life harder. I agree. But if this man's got a vision, he's got a plan, dependent on where you are in your life, because I'm going to address this from a perspective of, I understand that a woman who's 30 is very different to a woman who's 21. Our responsibilities and the things we are trying to build in our life looks different when we're 30 to when we're 21.
Mm-hmm.
A 21-year-old might be in a position where she can say, I can build with you. I've got another 4 or 5 years. And a 30-year-old might not feel like that. She's like, my biological clock, this, that. I need to know that if I get pregnant, you can take care of something, you can hold it down. So I'm not disregarding that, but I'm saying everybody should do what works for them, and also understand that money comes and goes. You might get with the man today and he
Mm-hmm.
has money,
Exactly.
but life can take a really bad turn. And if it is just the money that you're there with him for, you will leave as quick as that money situation changed.
Definitely.
And then it's like, it's futile.
You said a very good point. I'm not even gonna lie. I think I
Mhm.
like tapped on the chair when you were saying it. But you mentioned, you said so far with that man being with you, or
Mhm.
that partner being with you and supporting you in your business and the things you're doing. And I think that's something that's like sent from God.
Mhm.
And that's when I said that it's not just about money, it's not just about, but it compensates,
Mhm.
because nowadays it is just about money.
Mhm.
And nowadays people are not really checking into their best intentions for their partner because of life or struggles or whatever cases. Not everybody. I'm not
Mhm.
generalizing, but just in.
I genuinely do believe, this is something that I've had this discourse with people several times, but I do believe that when people are building, I know how I was and how I can be. But when you're building, I don't always think it's the best case scenario to think about getting into serious relationships because it takes a lot to really be present in a relationship. I know when men aren't in financially secure places, they can sometimes not be very nice
Yeah.
because of the stress that comes with it and the pressure. And so, in knowing that, sometimes I do say, if you know you're in a pivotal stage of your building, maybe relationships is not the main focus.
Mm-hmm.
Get to a point where you feel like you're at an equilibrium and you have time, a bit more time, and then you can give that investment. So I do have that stance.
So, what's the longest point, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you didn't deal with anybody, right? What's the longest point?
What do you mean? What's the longest?
Longest point you've been single, not dealing with somebody. Longest.
2 years.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this question, right? So sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and bring up another scenario. You know, I'm always gonna relate something back to me.
Go on.
You know.
Yeah.
So, had a conversation with this woman,
Mm-hmm.
known her for years, whatever the case is. You know, tried talking back again. She mentioned something. Said she was in a point of herself of emotional stability, like she wasn't emotionally available.
Yes.
Was the word, right? And me now going on my trial, I'm going almost 3 years single now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I felt it clicked to me when she said that, like a year later. And I'm just like, even with myself, because sometimes you could be so comfortable doing things yourself, and from working on in the process of working on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you could kind of like forget how it is to actually, like, you know, even be in a relationship or
Mhm.
even tend to somebody that may be a good match and good everything, but you got so used to being single and doing certain things. It's like even something as a little as a good morning text, you know,
Yeah,
whatever the case
yeah.
is. But you could really like the person. You could really,
Mhm.
whatever the case is, but you get so used to it because everything after 21 days becomes a habit, you know, when it's consistently over a period of time. And it's something I never thought about until it's, you know, growing in the transgressions. You start noticing things and it's like, oh, you
But
know?
can I'll say something about that. I am a strong believer that people do what they want to do. I'm someone, I don't put ultimatums on people. I don't enforce my law on anyone. I watch you and I assess what you want to do, and that tells me how you feel towards me. I don't sit there. Like sometimes I'm like, if somebody wanted to do something, they would do it because intentionality is not something you teach someone. People, when a guy wants to be successful, he's intentional about making that business work. The same way, if he wants to make a woman his wife, he will be intentional. He will think about her. He will consider her. He will make her a priority. Nobody has to teach him that. Nobody has to remind him. And that's what people fail to realize. That's why you can see situations where a man will be with a woman for 10 years, never marry her. He will meet another woman, 6 months. He's married her. Why? Because he chose to be intentional about that woman. He got comfortable with the other woman and and I guess there would have been other things where the lady maybe, you know, didn't keep her boundaries and stuff like that. But I am a strong believer people do what they want to do. Mm-hmm.
Damn, Jazz, you're hitting a lot of these questions on the money. And I just want to tell you, like, I'm sitting back and I'm listening
Yeah.
because, you know, because usually I ask these questions of people, you know, they say a couple things, but you have said some things that even made me think, you know.
Yeah.
And I think being intentional with your actions is very, very important. Definitely very important.
Yeah.
And yeah, you hit it right on the money. And you got me thinking.
Yeah, I know because I always say this, and that's why I sometimes say to people, especially I have a lot of women that come to me for advice regarding these things. And a lot of the times women will always feel like it's their fault, like they're not good enough. They're always like, they didn't make a man do this. They didn't. And I said, it's got nothing to do with what you you making him do something. He's going to do what he wants to do. A man is going to do what he wants to do. Stop believing that you could have influenced his decision. It doesn't work like that. As much as I'm not saying that there's not parts that you play, there is. Like, you've got to be pleasant, you've got to be nice, you know, try for each other. But a man that wants to choose you, he's going to always know that you're not like an option. He's going to always show you you're not an option. He's going to always let it be known that you're never going to have to second guess how important you are in his life. That is what I would say.
And you realized a lot of these things like through your experience.
Yeah, through experiences and just observing. I'm a very analytical person. I can dissect.
I can see that.
I will dissect everything. I will look, I will analyze the situation, past, pre, everything. And I will observe different patterns. I read patterns. So I always say that the first time it can be a mistake, the second time is your pattern. And that's my thing.
You believe in like those zodiac stuff and all that stuff?
Not
take one.
really. No, I do sometimes get creeped out by the fact that, you know, you meet people from the same month and they act similar.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I believe it hardcore.
What month was you born? Were you born?
I'm the last day of a Sagittarius. So everyone always tells me Sagittarius, Capricorn.
You got that fire. That fire is that burning desire. That's what keeps you going.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
talk about that a lot too. You know, but yeah, I'm into the zodiacs. I'm into, you know, because it's all about coincidences. It's like, you know, with me, there's no such thing as coincidences. It's, you know, and a lot of people say, you know, oh, zodiacs. I don't like believe in no zodiacs. They're planets. It's astrology. It's like whatever. You know, it makes sense. It makes sense. It don't. Generalization, I get it, but you know, sometimes it be like it's on point. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know? So what's next? What's next?
What's next for me? Just working on my brand, continually evolving it. I would say just building up my brand. That is the next steps for me to continually evolving.
What is your brand called?
Building up my Jazzmine Maria brand. So just my whole content creation brand, like the different facets, creating more avenues and streams of income through that. And yeah, just, you know, utilizing my talents to kind of make an impact and help others. That's
Definitely.
what I want to do.
You see yourself getting involved in any like woman leadership, things like that?
We're cooking.
Yeah,
We're
you're
cooking.
up? Okay. Because I
We're
think you're a
cooking.
good candidate. I do.
I love that.
I think you're going to be storming through that motherfucker, you know?
Yeah, so that
Jazzmine
one
Maria
definitely.
had a dream, you know?
We're definitely working on that. So
Mm-hmm.
I already do quite a few things with the ladies. So I will be expanding that. I will.
I think that's beautiful. You know, I seen you yesterday. Honestly, like you're the leader in the group. I can see. Just in general, you
Appreciate
have the
that.
leader energy, you know, and people flock to you.
I
Yeah.
always say, do you know one thing I've always said? I prioritize relationship. I'm very big on connecting with people. I believe that energy tells you everything. I'm somebody who can discern people's energy off the cusp. I will know my I always call it like my antennas. They will tell me whether to steer clear of someone or to allow that person within my vicinity, within my space. I use that to kind of decipher how I'm going to position people in my life. So for me, I've always said like some of my greatest opportunities have come through relationships, have come through people I know. So I don't take it lightly. You can put me in a room with all by myself. I will leave that venue with friends.
Yeah.
I'm literally like that because I'm very good at just making people feel comfortable. So yeah.
So you have a very strong power to you. I want to tell you that.
Thank
you
you
know,
so much.
who are some people in your life that influenced you to the point where you are now, or you could look back at and be like, if it wasn't for this person, you know, I wouldn't think or be in the position I'm at right now.
I think my dad has played a very massive role in that. My dad is my number one hype man. My dad is my supporter, my cheerleader, my like encourager. He is the person that from when I was young, he told me I was capable of anything. till this day, he's always like, I'm so proud of you. But I believe that was a pivotal part of my upbringing, having a male role model that poured into me. I never had to look for validation outside because my dad had already affirmed me. And he is the one person, if I want validation from, it's him. And I know that he has my best interest at heart. So I feel safe, right? And that has been the basis for who I've become. I feel like I always say people don't realize when you have that figure in your life, even if it's not your dad, but it's your mum or it's just someone that has really, decided to take care of you. When they pour into you and they speak life into you, it gives you a strength, an innate strength that nothing can break. And that's what my dad done for me. And that is what he done for me.
That's beautiful. That made me smile too, because I got my little girls, and I say to myself, I'm like, anything them girls want, and I always make sure I'm there, and because I never want them to feel like they can get it from somewhere else. They got the mother that loves them very much, and they have me. So hearing that just confirms to me of the little things I tell them, it really matters. I have talks with Samaya, that's my oldest, all the time, and I tell her, are you a leader? And she'll be like, oh, you asking me this again. And I'm just like, all right, what actions have you done lately that show that you're a leader? And she'll tell me scenarios and, and just instilling in my kids in general.
That's so important. And I was saying to someone just the other day, I was saying, my dad, I didn't realize how pivotal it is, or it was. But when I was younger, I remember my dad wouldn't allow me to have a conversation with him without me looking in his eyes.
Yep.
I don't speak to people without looking in their eyes. He told me, when you speak to someone, you look them in their eyes because then they know you're confident.
Exactly.
Then they know you're owning what you're doing. They respect you. If you don't do that, you look feeble. And I always never knew. Like, there was just so many things that my dad would do. And my dad, he loves speaking in a parable or an analogy. He loves it.
Yeah.
But there were so many things that my dad imparted in me to let me know, like, how to carry myself. So that's why when you're saying the thing like, what did you do to be a leader? That speaks volumes to me, because that is what my dad would do. When he would speak life into me, he would make sure I'm letting him know, like, I would have to explain what I understand, just stuff like that. And
that's important. And definitely. So you ever done any kind of sales job before?
So not so much sales jobs, but a lot of my roles have been client facing. So closing client deals, in a sense of like, managing accounts, closing them, making them a client. So not so much sales.
I get it. But the sales is basically directed into it, because you close the deal and you're getting paid or compensated for it between you and the company.
Yeah, you're just onboarding the client and stuff. Yes.
Okay. So so far with marketing, you do a lot of marketing. Okay. And this is something for me that I'd want to know, because I'm in car sales,
Okay,
nice. I'm in
nice.
car sales. So I work at Kia, one of the top performers there. I freaking love my job, love what I do. And sales is something that's very, very specific in the things I do, even with my podcast, so very important. But marketing, you do a lot of marketing,
Yes.
publicizing, influencing everything that you do revolving around your brand. What is the difference between the sales and the marketing? What would you say? Because sales does have you do a lot of marketing, and I did bring up sales, but there is some difference in it.
Okay. So they kind of do go hand in hand to some degree, because marketing is about ROI as well. Like when you're, doing marketing, you're thinking about, it depends on the objective, but a lot of the times, like, obviously return on investment, stuff like that. Like sales, when you're saying the difference, I just feel like sales is, how can I explain this? Marketing, I'll be marketing a product. So I'll be doing all of the different tactics and strategies to kind of get a product out there, right? And then sales is the byproduct of that. Is that making sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. So for me, with me doing sales, right? So a lot of sales jobs, they're focused on commission. They're focused on basing a lot of time. It's not a 9 to 5 o'clock in an hourly. You basically, the time that you put in is the work that you get is the money you get compensated for. So revolving around, for you, do you feel like you'll be, because you are selling you're selling your brand, you know, you're
I'm
gonna come to a point with you, even what you're doing now and even with your brand, you're gonna be selling certain things. You may have a hair called Jasmine Maria, I don't know, you know,
I
but
do that. No,
yeah.
I do sales in a sense of
Hmm.
I always said with social media, I needed my social media strategy to clearly denote how I was going to make money from social media.
Hmm.
So like if you see my strategies online, when people see my grid on my Instagram, they know they're coming to shop.
Hmm.
That is essentially sales, although it's not directly in your face, like, come buy from me, guys. Like, I'm selling you something. You are enticed by what I'm wearing.
Hmm.
And then I have a funnel in which you comment, I deliver you the value.
Yeah.
That is my version of sales.
Hmm.
I think sales is a something you need to figure out how your audience receives it, like how you're going to sell to your audience when it comes to social media. Like sometimes obviously there's B2C, there's B2B. Do you get what I mean? Like you
Hmm.
have to know and you do your strategies according to that.
And you fit more in what you do. What do you feel like is better,
Um,
marketing or sales?
they all play a particular role, but I
Mhm.
would say marketing.
Marketing. Okay.
hmm
Why would you say marketing?
I would say marketing because that encompasses how you're going to entice the audience. Everything starts with that. You can't sell to anybody unless you've marketed something. Do you get what I mean? Like, how are
Hmm.
you gonna? Everything is about marketing.
Yeah.
I need to make you believe in my brand. I need to make you believe in me in order to even sell you something. Why would I buy from someone who hasn't marketed their product to me well?
Hmm.
So, sales is a byproduct of the marketing, right?
Definitely to a certain extent, because you know sometimes there could be things that are not as marketized that are still selling. You know, I'll say for example, right? Let's say perfect. I had a clothing line, right? It's called Level Up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So marketing, advertising, all this stuff. You know, I had it when I was younger. I was around like 18 to like 24. Didn't have so much to marketize it, right? But I was basically getting clothing from overseas and I was selling it. All my products that I had, I would get over 100, 150 clothes. Had women clothes, whatever cases. But listen. I sold everything,
Yeah.
okay? So I didn't really spend too much money on marketing it, but I still got
But
the money from it,
you still would have marketed it, in my opinion. When you got your product, whether it was word of mouth or you stood there and you said, "Look at my product, it's
Mhm.
amazing." Blah. That's a form of marketing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have marketing. You have to do that to make people understand the offer that you're selling. There we
Exactly.
go.
Yeah,
Offer
yeah,
that you're
yeah.
selling. You've got to do that. So that's the reason why I say when we market things, it's for return on investment,
Yeah.
which then leads to the sale. So that's
Mhm.
why I stand on the marketing.
Well, I guess I would rather take a sales job than a marketing job. That's just me, you know.
I
But
can
I get you.
understand. No, I can.
Your marketing is a little kind of different because, like, you're branding yourself. You're doing two in one.
Two in
But
one.
like for people who are like trying to get a job and it's like the kind of category they'll be in, whether somebody will go into a marketing, PR team or something as a job, or somebody that goes into sales. Personally, myself, I would go with sales
Mhm.
just because for the time that you're gonna put in, you're gonna get a result from it. With marketing, the strategies, it takes maybe a little bit more time to.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. And I know you mentioned PR.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everyone always puts PR under the same umbrella as marketing, and it's actually not.
It's not?
No.
What do you mean?
Because PR is about like public perception. It's about, brand perception. You're creating a story
Mm,
around a product, right? You're getting placements in publications, stuff like that. Whereas marketing is a lot of the focus is on ROI. It's more heavily linked to sales. You can say, for example, someone could feature you in a magazine today. You've launched your business, someone can feature you. You might not reap the benefits of that until 3 months down the line because someone saw you in that publication.
mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's different to marketing. where we're looking at, okay, this data tells us this. We put together this ad strategy. We done this campaign, and this is what the numbers were. It's very different. Even our reporting styles are different.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking about circ views when it comes to PR marketing. We're talking about something totally different.
So
The metrics.
I can get how people get confused just because it's both of like information getting out there, So, but marketing, so you're basically saying marketing is more towards the selling side, and PR is more for, which is public
Storytelling.
relation. Yeah, basically building the narrative.
Exactly.
Got you.
There
All
we
right, now that
go.
makes, you just taught me something. I mean,
Yeah.
that's serious,
Yeah.
I sell things. I sell myself. I sell cars, and I sell a brand.
Yep.
So hearing that gives me the information on it too.
We tell publicists, they kind of tell the world how to perceive your brand, what to perceive, like what is good alignment for your brand, like what's the story that it's telling. That's what we do.
All right. So Jazzmine,
Yeah.
Maria.
Yes, that you got it right. You got it right.
I got it right. Listen, I was
Yeah.
messing up her name a little bit, from yesterday today, but I got it right.
Yes, you did.
Listen, thank you so much for coming on to my show.
Pleasure.
I learned a lot from you today, especially when it comes to the relationship side. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna take some notes down, because Jazzmine put me on today. Okay, but
I like that.
let the viewers know where to find you, and any things you got coming up that you want them to take a look at.
Yeah, so you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Jazzmine Maria, JazzMineMaria. That's where you can find me, Instagram and TikTok.
So you guys heard it, man. Listen, thank you for tuning into I'm Jerry B podcast. You guys, I'm gonna let you guys know about the next episode. Make sure you subscribe. Hold on, you see that? Make sure you go down, you hit subscribe when you look on the channel, like and comment. See you guys next time.